Last year, we only lost 3 starters from last year's team offensively and defensively. We have a very good opportunity ahead of us, but again, we're going to have to stay hungry, stay humble to what we really want to accomplish. The biggest thing we have to get across to our guys is in the spring, that's the time to be selfish. That's the time to really go out in our positions. In the fall, you need to put those individual aspirations aside and do what's best for the team. And if we can juggle that and manage that, we'll be very successful as a football team this fall.
You bring back a lot of starters on both sides of the ball. I guess just start on offense, up front with your offensive linemen.
Yeah, of our offensive line, of our 5 starters last season, 4 of them were all conference. The number 1 guy would be Rustin Mayorga, who is our one first-team guy. He's kind of the nucleus to what we're doing. High-energy guy, good leader among the team. It doesn't hurt to have a guy like Calvin L. Jones carrying the ball in the backfield.
And then on defense, you have a lot of depth there.
Yeah, defensively, we return every starter from the defensive line. Plus, you take a guy like Silas Aggie-Mang, who was a starter the prior season, who had a red shirt, and you bring him back to that defensive line. So, anytime you're solid among the offensive defensive lines, you have a chance in any game, and that should be our scenario this fall.
Your defensive unit had one of the better scoring defenses in the conference as well as a turnover margin, but kind of middle of the road in pass defense efficiency. So I just want to know what will be done or what improvements will be made to be more efficient against the pass.
Well, I think sometimes you can make numbers. You can bend them to however they benefit you. And I think one reason our pass efficiency was up was the fact that we had leads and gains, and teams had to throw the ball more than they had to run the ball. That also probably makes our run statistic better than what it really should be, because when you're playing with a lead, that's the way you have to play. And you notice, you just look at the stats, the reason Shepherd has such a good run offense is because they're probably up on teams 2 or 3 touchdowns and want to just ease out the clock and guide it on out. But to answer to the core of that question, we've got to do a much better job of rushing the passer, getting the quarterback. I thought we've done a solid job defending the pass, but we can always add more pressure to the quarterback.
At the quarterback position, what's the plan heading into the season?
Well, we have Brian Novak, who was our starter last year, and then we're bringing in Patrick Thompson, who was a transfer from Wake Forest. So those 2 guys will be in competition day 1. We want to look at those guys as both starters, and I don't know how it's going to end up, but both guys are going to play a very active role in our team this fall.
Mm-hmm. You talked about at the receiver position, have to get the ball deeper more and win those one-on-one battles. Just talk about your depth at receiver. Obviously, Tico Henderson coming back made some big plays there.
Yeah, Tico is second-team all-conference guy. We feel good about Davon McGill in that spot. You have Ryan Stewart, who his freshman year was 11 touchdown guy. He's just been inconsistent as far as injuries. And then you have veterans like Derek Williams, DJ Holmes, those guys who have played. And then you bring in freshmen transfers that come in the mix, and hopefully among that, the cream will rise and the crap will fall, and we can get some guys that can make the plays.
How are turnovers? How big of a focal point are turnovers made for your offense? Because I was looking at the conference statistics, and 16 interceptions, which was second most in conference competition. So how much of a focal point?
That's definitely a point of emphasis. The positive side is we didn't have any fumbles lost last season, so that's great when you can do that. But we have to do a much better job of holding on to the ball. If you play great defense and don't give up the ball or give up easy touchdowns, you're a hard team to beat. Now, I want to be a football team that people have to line up and beat us instead of a team that where you give games away. And more games are lost than won, and we have to do a much better job of cutting those turnovers down, and that way we can make teams line up and beat us.
Preseason doesn't really mean too much. Just like the coaches were talking about earlier. Obviously, football's a funny game. Anybody can win on Saturday. It's a really competitive conference, but obviously everybody in this conference wants to be first place. So finish second in the conference championship. So obviously second place is, I guess, a good fit. I'd say.
Coach said you either win or you learn. So what did you learn from that tough game against Shepherd at the end of the year?
I felt like we grew as an offense and defense. Obviously, Coach was saying we got to do the right things, but most of all, competing at that level as a young group. I thought we set ourselves up to a higher standard for the following season. So I felt like we learned a lot just about how to control the game in a big time atmosphere. So that's going to help us out going into this season with high expectations.
Rustin, with all five offensive linemen returning, how important is that continuity to a group?
It's important. I mean, we're a seasoned group. We're all on the same page. Beginning of the year, we were trying to find our identity, and I think towards the middle and the end of the season, we found out who we are, what we can do. And it's going to help out a lot this year, just because we don't have to worry about so much, the playbook or just trying to figure out the part of the offense. It's more of just getting your techniques right and just continue to craft your game.
And on a personal level, it's your second year in the program. How much more comfortable are you now as opposed to, say, a year ago?
I'm a lot more comfortable. I mean, coming from California, I wasn't too sure about the Division II level. But being around these guys, I'm really comfortable. It's like a second home for me. I'm just ready to get back to work and get this thing going.
Offensive linemen seem like they're one of the most tight-knit group on the whole football field. Is there anything you guys do outside of football?
I mean, last year we went bowling as a group. I mean, simple things like that. On Fridays we have a home game. We'll have the team dinner, obviously, but then after we'll watch a movie. Usually watch Varsity Blues and we barbecue and just get our minds right for the game.
You guys start camp next week. Having that whole group coming back. Is there an advantage to having 5 guys coming back as opposed to maybe say 2 or 3 guys?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because we're all, like I said, we're all on the same page. I mean, it's more of now just the little things, the little details that's going to help us out. I mean, we don't have to start. Obviously, we don't have to start all the way from the bottom. Work our way up. We kind of have that seasoning, and it's going to help us progress to another level right before the season starts.